was first involved in the industry back in the 1970s. So it's actually a huge pleasure for me to see it being used on this kind of scale in the UK at last. I was always hoping this would happen. There was a time I wondered if it ever would, and it's wonderful to see a project on this sort of scale now happening on our doorstep.
And this solar project is giving everybody the opportunity to invest locally. It's the first project to do that in the UK. And one of the things we really struggle with here is a lot of people see development of renewables as being something somebody else does and something they don't get any benefit from. And at last we've got projects coming forward where actually the locals can benefit and they can be part of it.
Well, that's the bit I'm sort of passionate about, is community ownership. I mean, we're going to be generating kilowatts here, but actually we're doing more than that. This is about the opportunity for people to take control over local energy generation. That's really exciting.
I think we've for too long probably taken energy for granted and treated it as a commodity. And I think now we face what I like to think of as the trilemma of energy security, sustainability and affordability. And I think projects like this, bringing in new different technologies like the solar cells and the wind farm and the different ownership model, tackles that trilemma.
The interesting thing about renewable technologies, it is rather beautiful. It is industrial technology, and this is effectively an industrial plant, but if you see it from the air, if you see some of the aerial photographs, it looks pretty magnificent. In terms of the local environment, it has very little impact, but also it sits in a field suffused with wildflowers. So, funny enough, there aren't many industrial plants where you'd imagine the public would actively want to come and go for a nice walk, but you could certainly imagine it here, and as indeed people do.
I think it's a very good scheme in that the entry level is low enough to be very affordable for ordinary people. It's well protected in that the shareholding is contained within the shares. It's not for speculators. You can't sell the shares out to other people. But there's also an extremely good return. So if you had money available, you would be better investing in a scheme like this rather than just leaving it in the bank where you're going to get nothing.
It's really exciting. It's not something that had ever occurred to me before. I would never have thought, I know, one day I'll try and own a piece of an electricity generating plant. So it's really exciting. I think it's a great idea to get everybody involved and everybody to care about what's going on.
We are basically open to investments anything from £250 to £20,000 under the terms of this offer, and we're seeking to raise a total of about £4 million that way.
I think Farringdon is a very eco-aware town, and I'm sure that the residents of Farringdon would love the opportunity to be able to invest in a scheme such as this.
I think it's a really good idea to invest in a project like this because it's investing in your kids and your grandchildren in the future of our community and our planet, and also it's a great way to make money.
Very right!
But the prospectus makes things look pretty attractive. I think it was 11% average rate of return, so hopefully we'd get what we put back in pretty quickly over the first 10 years, and then anything on top of that is a bonus, considering we're actually interested in supporting the scheme for its own merits, quite apart from the money.
I invest in a lot of co-ops and social enterprises, so like most I'll be looking at a blend of financial and social impact returns.
In the short term, absolute 2012, compared to having money in the bank, it's a fantastic investment. In the long term, we've no idea what will happen to the world. In the intermediate then, I think it's a very sensible, solid investment. It doesn't rely on other people's gambling ideas, and it's here, it's local, fantastic.
Put your money where it's safe and support the environment at the same time.
If local people get together to make it happen, this could be the future.
Clean energy, and it's just going to help everyone in the future.
Here we have the inverter showing how much energy we've produced today, and the peak today was just under 600 kilowatts at 1 o'clock, just as we were launching the co-op, so I think that's a great sign.
I think it's only right that I should give you the very first opportunity to participate in what we believe will be the world's largest cooperatively owned solar farm.
And I'm sure I will be one of the first investors to secure my children's future in every sense, both financial and environmental.
The share offer has launched today and we close on the 31st of July.
I think it's overwhelming. It's an amazingly positive experience. I can't believe it. it makes me feel hopeful for the future.